Welcome to the Confined Space Entry Awareness Training module. First of all, we need to determine if the space we are going to work in is a confined space. The attachment is a flowchart to assist managing work in confined spaces. Here is the first part of the flowchart that helps determine if the space you will be working in is a confined space. Ask the questions. Is the space fully or partially enclosed? Was the space designed or intended for continuous human occupancy? Are there restrictions on workspace entry or exit that can complicate provision of first aid, evacuation, rescue, or other emergency services? To see the full version of the chart, refer to the attachment. Here is a sump well that is about 4 meters or 14 feet deep. This is a confined space because there is no extension on the ladder, hindering access and egress. The opening is small, making a quick escape difficult. The water in the space poses hazards for electrical shock, slip hazards, and drowning. This enclosed space has the potential of having toxic atmospheres. Here's a short exercise for you. Consider the possible characteristics of a confined space. Would you classify the area in this photo as a confined space? Yes, this is classified as a confined space because toxic environments can be created in the vicinity and surrounding areas of the lagoon, causing immediate danger to the people in the area. Oxygen may be limited due to displacement. Access into and out of the area is limited and dangerous, and special equipment is needed to get people out of the area. Selection of the appropriate respiratory protection may be different for each phase of the confined space entry. For example, during initial entry and testing, the SCBA unit will be required due to the unknown environment inside. Once determined safe, an APR respirator could be used to minimize exposure to airborne particulates. Activities that may take place in the confined space may determine the type of respiratory protection required. For example, respirators used for cleaning solvents would be different than respirators used for welding. Before confined space entry is allowed, employers must have an effective emergency response plan in place. All individuals involved in confined space entries must be able to carry out an effective rescue and start immediate evacuation in the event of an emergency. If an emergency situation arises in a confined space, there may only be seconds to rescue a confined space entrant, so calling 911 and waiting for help is not sufficient emergency response. Confined space operations must have an emergency response plan in place along with well-trained, on-site, self-sufficient rescue capabilities available and ready to respond throughout the entry.